Okay, so there is no uglier word in the history of competition than choke. And unfortunately today we have a fine example of choking in real time as Mouz absolutely threw away a very winnable nuke against Eternal Fire in their semifinal matchup in the Bet Boom Dacha, which is just wrapping up today. Now listen, in all fairness, both of these teams were definitely playing for second because on the other side of the bracket, Donk was playing like Jesus again, so I don't think anybody was stopping Spirit in this tournament. However, Mouz should be beating Eternal Fire pretty much every single time except for in this case, and losing the series 2-0 against them is pretty unforgivable. So today, we're going to analyze what exactly went wrong down the stretch on Nuke, and exactly how Mouz blew both their Achilles heels right at the finish line. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you guys take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm. While you're down there, consider becoming a channel member. For $5 a month, you can support me directly when we do here, gain access to regular videos the night before anyone else, as well as a shout out at the end of every video. And lastly, check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ. I'll be streaming some Counter-Strike live tonight, so come on by and hang out. Without any further ado, let's get into this disaster of a map. And really, disaster is the right word. I will do my best to illustrate to you just how sloppy this game was down the stretch, but you should go back and watch it yourself. It was quite hilarious watching some of these rounds play out live. Before we start getting into some specifics though, let's take a look at some broad strokes and take a look at some of the score lines going down as we approach the overtime. Now the first thing we have to point out, and I hate to do it to him, but Xertion, buddy, oh my god, was this a series to forget for you. 8 kills on the first map, Dust 2, and then 14 kills in a double overtime loss, dude. Oh god, it hurts. We're gonna show off some of Xertion's many mistakes later on in this video, but there was a certain point where he was just straight feeding, and honestly, that's a little bit on Mouz as a team. Shuhi or the coach needs to step in at a certain point and be like, hey man, I get it, you're having a rough map, but we need you to stop going on a solo mission and dying every round. Because Xertion definitely contributed to why the T-sides for Mouz here on Nuke looked so wretched. So already, not a great start. Xertion is one of the key aspects of this team, and when he is not rifling to his usual level, obviously Mouz are not going to be nearly as good as they could. But outside of that, if you look at everyone else on Mouz, I would argue they played better as a team than Eternal Fire. If you take away Woxic and Major having an out-of-band performance, everyone else on Eternal Fire underperformed. Wakadia was just as wretched as Xertion. So if Xertion is just like 10% better than he was in this match, this is a no contest, and we are for sure seeing a Mouz victory and at least go into a map 3. And really, Mouz should have won this game flat out before overtime. They managed to get the 12-10 lead, force it to match point, and on their first attempt to close out the map, they have Eternal Fire on the back foot. They barely have any money, they're not full bond, they have Wakadia on a Tech 9, and they force a lot of time to be drawn out in this round. They're going to waste a lot of utility and force Eternal Fire into a late A hit, and if you're Mouz, everything is going right. 40 seconds left, Eternal Fire have to push onto A. Brolin gets a double kill in Squeaky. At that point, it's 5v3, no utility, this should be an easy cleanup. However, Brolin turns away from Hut for no reason, allowing Woxic to swing and get the trade. Kalik swings out a Hut and takes out Shuhi. Now we're into a 3v3. Major is coming over the rooftop from Boost. He flies through the sky like a goddamn eagle, takes out Xertion because Xertion again can't catch a break, and now things get very interesting. Fair play to Major here. This is an incredibly smart heads-up play to flash out into sight because it gives a gap for Woxic to sneak downstairs with the bomb, putting us into a split 2v2 where Woxic's going to get the plant, but Jimfat has to rotate through ramp and Torji is trapped on the upper bomb site with Major still. At this point, I think if you're Mouz, you need to slow down. I think the biggest mistake in this round is that Jimfat gets too aggressive and peeks into Woxic, allowing Woxic to take that 1v1 fight. Yeah, if Jimmy wins it, it's round over, but at the same time, you have no backup. Your teammates can't help you here. You have time, you have kits. I think you should be waiting for your teammate to make a play before you take this peek. Overall, a really winnable round for Mouz, just kind of came down to small mistakes at the end that burned them. Okay, no big deal. You still have one more round to try and close it out. And a through line through this entire game is that Eternal Fire were by no means playing clinical Counter-Strike. They made a ton of dumb mistakes themselves. Like here, Wokadia flies through into ramp with the MAC-10, they get the first pick on Jimmy, and you're thinking, okay, great, we're going to take ramp control. And then they're jumping down into Torji's open arms, Zontaras has his knife out, and Torji can get a double kill immediately right back. And if Major doesn't get this lurk pick onto Shuhei, I think the round is over because that double kill equalized the advantage. If Shuhei gets the pick on Major, now it's a 3v2 and they haven't gotten the bottom bomb site, it's most likely wraps for Eternal Fire and we're looking at Inferno. But just a little bit of unluckiness in the 1v1s comes back to bite Mouz and we're moving on to overtime. Well, the second half of overtime, to be honest. In the opening half, Mouz did well to win 2 of 3 CT rounds and keep Eternal Fire at bay, but they weren't really that interesting, so we're just going to skip by. One thing I want to talk about is how this T side was decidedly disjointed for the rest of this game. And I think a lot of it unfortunately has to do with the fact that Xertion wasn't able to get his usual impact alone outside. Like here, they're going to invest a lot of utility to give Xertion position to work around outside. I think the intent is to set him up to be able to get him to pinch through Mini on a combined A hit. That's what everything seems to be leading towards in this round. They're going to use 3 smokes, a bunch of flashes, a Molotov from Xertion himself to get him outside, but he's not really going to do anything with it. They are going to draw the rotates out of EF that they want. One player is going to rotate into Secret. They're going to keep Woxic outside. That's all great, but Xertion doesn't do anything with the positioning. He's already rotating back to bolster the A-hit, and then add on to that, Brolin gets picked on ramp pretty needlessly, no flash, no counter support from his teammates, and now everything's falling apart. They're in a 4v5, they haven't really gained any positions, they've used all their utility, they're down to 2 flashbangs and a smoke to try and take one of the bomb sites, and they have no positional advantage to do it, and they're going to be forced because of it to see if they can make like a contact play out of Squeaky, but Torji's holding all their flashbangs. He gets peeked by Woxic, they have no more flashes to try and make this work, and now it just comes down to trying to get a miracle duel. Woxic takes all 3 kills and the round gets shut down. We go to the next round, and Mouz are going to run back the exact same strats. The same setup, the same smokes and everything. This time Xertion is going to push up and take that control, and Mouz, once again, I think they get exactly what they want here. Xertion finds the gap into Mini, the A hit is on, they're moving through Squeaky, and then Xertion just misses the shot against Wokadia. If he gets this kill, this round is so different, and now, this is where I think Mouz, they don't really have the same kind of team play we would see at their peak here. This feels like a lot of individual swings, no possibility of a trade. Just one player taking the swing and then the next player, then the next player. They essentially allow Major to play everything as a 1v1, which that's the worst case scenario. You want Major to be pressured, being shot at from both angles. He should be only getting 1 kill here, but he gets 2, and that's the difference maker in the round. And now suddenly we flip the script. It's match point for Eternal Fire. Mouz need to win this round to keep the game alive. And frankly, I think Eternal Fire takes 2 to tango here. Really messed up this round because they should never be losing this. The round's going to start and Calyx is going to play pretty aggressive through the ramp smoke into trophy room. Jimfat's never checking this corner. Honestly, maybe this is paranoia speaking in hindsight, but I really do feel like you have to clear every corner, especially in a round that means everything like this. Granted, it's a great position from Calyx, so I can't be that critical. Now we move to outside, and they're going to try and maybe work some outside control to Heaven, maybe through Mini, it's hard to tell, and Woxic is just going to go to work with the op. He takes care of Xertion, the second on the Brolin, and then Shuhei finally puts a stop to it. If Woxic just doesn't repeak for the third there, it's a 2v5, he doesn't have to. Again, I think this round is over, and credit to Shuhei, because Shuhei is going to work miracles here. He's going to find another pick into hell. Shuhei's working the solo scout mission while Torji just kind of holds frame with the bomb in hand, seeing if Shuhei could find a gap. Eternal Fire make a really odd rotation here to give up the A bomb site. Wokadia is going to stand in like the worst corner known to mankind by himself, and Major's going to start working his way around outside. I feel like they both should have been staying in lobby. I mean, they have their teammate down on the lower bomb site, so they don't have to worry about lower getting there without them knowing. I think they both should have stayed together in case someone gets caught on the 1v1 like this. Instead, Wokadia gets shot in the back of the head, and the A bomb site gets given up for Mouz. And in the post plant, it's just Shuhei brilliance. He's going to take all 5 kills, a 2v5 ace to force second overtime. And you think that kind of momentum from your in-game leader is going to be enough to spur his team on to really fight back in the first half of the next overtime, and you'd be wrong. And again, it sucks to bully Xertion like this, but his lack of impact outside came back to bite Mouz time and time again on this T side. Here, all the resources are going into getting him outside to find space to make the ramp to lower pinch work. He's going to get downstairs. He's going to find that gap into secret. And as the Mouse players start to push ramp, if he gets one of these picks downstairs, that could pull Eternal Fire away. It changes the rotates. It changes the whole flow of the round. Instead, they're going to double swing him. Bukadi's going to take out Xertion as Mouse rotate late to try and hit the upper bomb site now that two were spotted downstairs. But even if Xertion just gets a trade here on Bukadia, Bukadia can't suddenly throw himself up vent and take care of Jimfat and leave Torzi in a 1v3 that he can't win. The round goes differently if Xertion even just gets one kill, but this was just one of those days where Xertion couldn't find a kill to save his life, and that sucks. In the next round, Mouz did this quite a lot in this game where they would run the same setup back-to-back rounds, but try and give you like a different look with the positioning. They're going to throw the exact same outside smokes, the double smokes to cross through red box, but this time Xertion and Shuhi are going to play in front of it towards Mini, and like I said, it's just one of those games where Xertion couldn't catch a break. He takes a swing into Mini, he's looking too close, he's not even thinking about Zontaras being there to contest, and he's just not aiming in the right spot, and Zontaras sits him down. And once again, the whole attack is working around this kind of pincer into lower through ramp and secret. Now Shuhi's isolated upper, he can't really help his teammates. Jimfat and the rest have to try and make a play into ramp, and they're going to get downstairs. And we're going to find ourselves in a 5v4 post plan. Definitely a tough situation to make work. Torzi's playing on top of the railing. He's going to find a first good opener with the op. He's going to take some chip damage from Major down in the decon room. But Brolin's going to take care of Major. Okay, we're starting to equalize out the numbers here. We're down to a 3v3. We're starting to make things work. Shuhi's coming down secret on the flank. Woxley's going to hit an insane shot on Jimmy with the op. Unfortunately, not really shown in this perspective. Shuhi's going to get the revenge pick on the stairs. But Shuhi, he gets caught out not looking. He's not expecting the second player in control, so Kalis can take one back, putting Brolin into a 1v2. Brolin hits the first shot onto Woxic, but he's out of ammo. The timer's running down, and he almost wastes enough time with the Glock in his hands, but Kalis wraps it up for the clutch. A round that really could have gone either way, but we bring it back, and if Xertion could have just found that opening pick on Zontaras, who knows how different the round plays out. And just to put a pin in Xertion's bad day at the office, in the very next round, he is going for the jump spot over the boxes outside, and Woxic hits an insane timing shot on him. So Xertion's taken out in the first 5 seconds. That puts Mouz behind from the very beginning, and unfortunately EF are going to take 3 straight CT rounds to open up the double overtime, and that's the kind of deficit that is just so hard to come back from over and over again. Not that the boys didn't make a game effort of it because they won the first 2 CT rounds, they almost did it, but in the final round of play, I think Mouz just got antsy and made a few too many mistakes. This round's going to play very slow, over a minute of basically nothing happening, and as we start to get below a minute and it looks like Eternal Fire are wanting to work into ramp, Brolin just goes on his own through Squeaky. He's not able to get anything, gets picked by Major. Now Zontaras is getting pinched outside in secret and should be dead as there is a player in secret as well as Xertion lurking into the big garage. But once again, Xertion, not having the greatest day in the office, is unable to take care of Zontaras, so now that is 2 uncontested picks going the way of Eternal Fire. Shuhi, unfortunately alone on the A bomb site, has no idea whether he should be looking out for main or for Squeaky, turns his back at the worst possible timing as the Eternal Fire players turn around to head into the upper bomb site, so he gets picked for free. And to add insult to injury, Zontaras is going to get the second pick outside on Jimfat, who was supposed to be helping Xertion pinch him. And at that point, it's wraps. Eternal Fire are not going to find a way to choke this low man situation, and they are going to win the map 19-17. So yeah, overall, I think both teams played a lot of sloppy Counter-Strike here. We focused on Mouz because frankly they're the better team, but man, some of these T-side setups by Eternal Fire were not good, which is why they are not that great of a team. But fair is fair, Major had a ridiculous map and frankly a ridiculous series, and Woxic turned it on in the overtime. Sometimes that's just how it is. For Mouz, not only did Xertion obviously have maybe his worst series of the year, but frankly there were a lot of really weird individual mistakes that you wouldn't see from this team normally. It happens to every team, it just sucks that it came at a penultimate moment in a semi-final of a pretty big prize pool tournament, but hey, neither of these teams were being spirit, so I guess that's the through line at the end of the day. Donk survives all. Anyways, that's all I got today in terms of analysis for this Mouz choke. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys want to see me take a crack at Donk shredding enemies like they're Swiss cheese? If there's enough hype about that, maybe I'll consider doing it just for you because I care about you guys. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. These videos are powered by advanced.gg. If you go to their website, browse any of their excellent products, and decide to make a purchase, you can use my code LIONS10 for 10% off, and it lets them know that I sent you their way. Thank you to advanced.gg. Thank you to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor for keeping the lights on. If you too want to become a channel member, you can do so at the link in the description down below. While you're down there, you can also follow me on Twitch, all that good stuff. Okay. Oh my god. Whew, that sparkling water snuck upon me. Alright, we're just gonna leave that in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.